I got in the cording I got in. There is some of the cording I got in will actually go through the loopers on our sergers, and that's what I'm going to go over here and demo tonight. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and boy howdy, to do decorative elements, it is really super cool. So I'm going to swap the camera. Got to reset up my Triumph for. I'm going to make it do a 2-thread flat lock, wide flat lock. Yeah, I just love that stitch for all the fun things you can do with it. So I'm going to reset this up, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull my needle thread. So I have it set up for a triple cover stitch right now. I was hemming a garment earlier. I'm just going to cut them off right in front of the needle. And then I'm going to cut them off at the cones. Then I'm just going to pull that through, and that's gone. And I'm going to snip my chain looper thread right here. Just snipped it right there as it was coming through the plate. And then I'll just pull that out as well. Okay. Now, I need a needle. I need one needle for what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take out these 3 needles. One, that was C3, C2, C1. There are those. I'm going to hold on to one of them because I need to put this in the O1 position. Okay, I'm going to do a wide 2-thread flat lock. I use that stitch a lot for what I do. Yes. Okay. Got a hangnail. Okay, you'll have to be dealt with a little bit later. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise my upper looper. I had it locked down for cover. I'm going to engage the subsidiary looper, and that's this little thing right here. Let me move this camera a little closer so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There we go. This little, you just gently pull it this way. And it's got a little spring right here, so you just pull it that way and it'll flip over right there to the tip of that upper looper. And what that does, it tricks the machine into thinking you have both loopers threaded. Because what I'm going to put in the lower looper is one of these decorative Turkish cordings. But I'm going to thread my O1 needle with this charcoal gray thread. If I can get a hold of it, here we go. This is the O1 needle. Now for the wide 2-thread flat lock, you do not put this over here in the O1 threading path. Excuse me. You do not put this in the O1 threading path. You move it to the upper looper thread path, right there, and then take it and run it over to your needle. Okay. Those of you that are coming to visit me in Ohio, you'll get to see this live and in person, and you will do it live and in person as well. Okay. I know I could use the air threader, and I'm going to. So let me get that set up. There we go. Now, oh, come on. Well, so when I tell you I'm having hand cramps tonight, so I'm going to use the threading cradle that comes with the Triumph. And the way this operates is you insert it from left to right, and it clips right up here against the needle bar. But you want to do that after you lower your air threader for the needles. That just holds that right in place, and then you have these little grooves and guides to insert the thread. Well, I have a fuzzy on the end of my thread. That's what it was. Okay, there we go. Now it should do much better. Okay. Okay, I'm not having luck with that tonight, so I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Oh my goodness. I've had Mike working on my serger, and he got it barely going for me for tonight because I tried to run something too thick through my chain looper the other day, and it put something a little bit out of alignment, and he's retiming everything. But he got it running enough for me to do this tonight. Oh, come on, you. Behave. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then I am going to put on my open-toed foot. There we go. Alrighty. Now we're going to thread our lower looper. And what I'm going to use, so here is what some of the cording looks like, okay? It comes in the form of a ball. Now you can't put it on your thread stand, but you can put it in a bowl and set it beside your machine. Check that out. Excuse the mess. And then I will take this right up to the upper looper guide in my thread mast. Right up there. See? And then I can just thread it like I normally would. Let me get that out of the way. Here we go. Okay. Right there, I just threaded it in the lower looper port. I'm going to put it right here. Now this stuff, the ends will fray, so each time you have to put this through, you totally will need to make sure you trim the end really good. And let's see, maybe I'll have to use a threading cradle, maybe not. Pull out some more slack. Let me see here. No, pull that out. It's got a little bit of a twist in it. We'll give it another go here. Yep. Trim the end of it. Of course, when I did this last night to make sure it would work, it just went right on through lickety-split. Okay. Lower looper. There it is. See here? There's that nice. This is a polyester and metallic lurex. Traditionally, this is a lace, considered a lace weight yarn, used for cross stitching, hand embroidery, actually crocheting lace. However, what we're going to do, I'm going to re-engage my blade. Now, when you're using these heavyweight things through a looper, you're probably going to want your stitch length set on 4. Okay. Let me take this out and put in the knife door. So we got the knife up. Okay. Now we are all set to go. And let's see, what kind of fabric do I have here to play with? Here we go, these will work. But here is some little bit of a scrap. Now, since I have my decorative thread in the looper, that's what I want to show on top, okay? Because what I'm doing, I'm going to make a flat seam as if I was piecing a quilt top. So that means I would put wrong sides of the fabric together, not the right side, but the wrong side, and run it through the edge of my machine. The reason I use the 01 needle whenever I'm doing quilting on my serger or piecing on my serger, if you set that knife width at the letter M, that means the knife is exactly a 1/4 inch away from the 01 needle. Okay? So once I'm going to rotate this just a little bit. So I want that knife to come up because that knife is actually going to act as a seam guide. I'm just barely going to let my fabric kiss that blade. I don't want it to trim fabric, but it's alright if it trims off any threads or anything like that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to set it, press my foot control, and give it a go. And it's curling like that because of my excess threads. From where I first started off, I should have used a starting cloth, but I didn't. I can straighten it out. There we go. Now the stitch length is set at 4. See how easy that comes off of there? And all you do, the only thing you really have to look out for is just to make sure it doesn't get a tangle or kink in it right up here. And right down here in this bowl, you can always just pull off some and let it sit there loose and it'll feed through just right. So check this out. Here's what it looks like before we open it up, okay? This is the right side of the fabric, and this will be the wrong side here, I'm just going to gently pull on it. It'll open up those seams. You can see that is a flat lock stitch. And by opening it up like that, this is what I would have on the front. I'd have this beautiful decorative metallic threads excuse me, on the front of my garment or my quilt or my home decor item. Okay, pretty cool. But guess what? I will show you one more thing. I have this in 3 different colors. Pink, which is what this is. Let me move my camera a little bit more. There we go. Pink, which is what this is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now you can see it, but it's got all this beautiful sparkly in it. It's really pretty. But I have this in pink, lilac, and blue. They are all pastel colors, and it looks wonderful. This is a polyester and metallic lurex blend. In the same token, I have this. It's a little bit heavier weight, but it'll feed through just as easily. This is 100% microfiber. And this ball here has like 270 or so yards on it. Whereas the one I just showed you, the pink one, it has about 200 yards on it. It's all listed on the website. Pretty cool. But a new gold metallic I got in is this one right here. This is an antique pale gold. Check it out. This is lace weight. People used to crochet with this weight of yarn to make lace doilies and stuff like that. But guess what? It will go through the serger looper. So what I have to do, I do have to use a threading cradle for this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some serger thread. I'm going to pull off about an arm's length, which is about a yard or a little better, and cut it. Okay. And then I'm going to open up my doors. I'm going to raise my needle to its highest position. And I'm going to cut my looper thread right here at the looper. Okay? Now, that's all, that looper thread is all gone out of there. Then I'm going to cut it right up there and just pull it out of my thread path completely. Okay. Then I'll set this to the side. And then, and I have a sample over here with these 3 different types already done on it that I'll let you look at in just a moment. And then, did I drop that? Where's my little threading cradle? I'll just get some more. It's just thread. And it's just serger thread at that. Okay, so we're going to cut another threading cradle. Here we go. There we go. Okay. And what I did, I put the 2 cut ends together. And I'm going to stick those about an inch into my looper, lower looper threading port. Say that real fast. I'm going to hold on to one end of it so it doesn't go all the way through. There it is. See right here in this hand, there's my 2 cut ends right there. And now I'm going to take this and set it in my little bowl beside my, right beside my serger, and I'm going to feed this through the lower looper threading ports, through the thread path for the lower looper, up there in my stand. See it up there? And then I'll go right here. Listen for the click, click, and here. And then I'm going to put it through the loop that this threading cradle formed. Feed it through. Now on my website, in the description of these, I actually say whether they will fit through our serger loopers or not. So that way you don't have to guess about it. And you don't mess up anything, because trust me, yeah, that was all my fault. Why is that like that? Oh, I see. Okay. Let's get you right around here. There we go. Then I'm just going to bring it up and over to the back of my machine. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to take this little piece right here and get this started. Meaning, shut my doors. We're all threaded now. We're ready to go. Oh, and by the way, right here, the letter A. A is an apple. Okay. And I'm just going to serge over this. Let's see here. I'm going to fold it in half and serge over it. So what I'm doing, I'm folding wrong sides together. I'm going to bring it up here and just finger press it. Now I'm going to run it right at the edge, but I don't want that fold to cut. There we go. Check it out. I'll do it again. And when I cut, I usually leave at least an inch tail. That way nothing unravels. But check this out. So there it is, unfolded. And when I open it up, let's open it up on the back. There we go. When we look at that front, check that out. So that could actually tighten up a little bit. That's at 4. I'm gonna put it at 3.5. There. My stitch length is now at 3.5. Let's see here. Do I have any more fabric I can use? I should have brought more fabric in here, but I didn't. There we go. Just cut that down a bit. I'm going to sew these two strips together just like we did before. Oops. And yes, I was not watching. And I broke my thread simply because so leave it at 4 is what I just learned. So if you get this heavy cording too close, too tight in there, it can cause it to break. Okay, so that's what happened here, and all I'm going to do, it was just a clean break, and you need to run your machine, and I was running it too fast. This stuff, you really want to run it at a slow speed, okay? Simply because, and I'm going to rethread that again, simply because these threads were not meant for high-speed machines whatsoever, okay? Also, as tempting as it might be, do not try to thread these cordings through the eye of a machine needle, because they will break. The cording will break because they're just not strong enough for that type of a speed when it comes to going through the eye of a needle in a modern sewing machine. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get that looper. Get you back on there. We're not done with you yet. There we go. There's that. And we'll take this back through our loop, just created right there. And I'll just pull it through. There we go. Okay. Now we're good to go. Trim that. Okay. And close our doors. And when I see, I have this turned all the way to the left. That way it won't get away from me. And it was much happier that time. Check that out. Then when we open it up, if you piece with the serger, you will actually get a flatter seam than you can by pressing a seam over. If you don't believe me, try it. You will get a flatter seam than doing it with a sewing machine and pressing it to one side. Okay, so there's that. Now, this is where I experimented last night. So that microfiber, the multi-greens, there it is. From brown, taupe, to different shades of green and a little bit of a pale green right there. On this piece, that is what I just did. That is that light antique gold right here. And over here is the pink right there. Then last night in my needle I had Madeira 12 weight metallic thread. And if you want this part to be on top, you put the right sides together and open it up, and then this cover stitch side. And in that case, if you're going after this ladder stitch, all you do is put serger thread through the looper, because the needle thread is what you see right here on the serger. Tons of fun. Pretty cool.